Not really.
Researching a company and a job position is part of the preparation that can give you advantages as you build your message, but there is one more thing that is significantly better than having solid notes to refer to. And the reason that almost no one does it is because some things are extremely difficult to do when you are alone. That is why college students form study groups. But in your case, if the journal note represents the critical information that you want to deliver in live interviews, the only thing better than having everything in front of you is to have everything in your head. If your preparation is so complete that you have your story committed to memory, then the crib note simply becomes your backup plan. Any Olympic athlete will tell you, training and practice will turn average into excellent, and excellent becomes amazing. That works for memory as well. There are lots of methodologies for how to train. However, it all comes back to retrieval and repetition. Executives take classes to get good at this, and they still have to practice. For you, that is what the Flash module does. It will give you the tools to get good at delivering confident answers to common questions. This puts you in control of the interview. Job Journals makes it easy, and you will be able to build a list of questions from a library of common questions, and you can even create custom questions for your list. For each one, you will be able to develop the answer that you want to deliver. And when you're satisfied with your questions and your answers, you can run a trial session where you will be first shown a question, and after you have worked through your answer, you can display the answer so that you can see how well you did. The module also has options for shuffling the questions and can measure your response times as well. If you are capturing elapsed times at the end of the session, it will present your measurements for review to see which answers might be too long or too short as you work on your delivery. Like all Job Journals modules, the Flash module is optional. However, preparing in this way has a unique purpose. Instead of making the message better, it makes you better. You will become more comfortable. You will confidently handle even the most complex questions easily and enjoy an elevated baseline of competence where others will struggle. Regardless of the industry, nothing impresses interviewers like knowing the company's products by name, the requirements of the position, and some details of their business. It's unexpected and it makes an impression that they will not forget. So why wait? Let's get started. Welcome to the Flash module. There's a lot to cover here, but we'll start by mentioning the two ways you build your list of questions. You can create custom questions, and you can import questions from our library. We're going to keep things simple and start off by creating one custom question. What is your favorite color? We'll go down here into our answer section, and you can pretty much write as little or as much as you want for an answer. Our favorite color is going to be blue. Let's make that very easy to read. Okay. Next, we can select a typeface and size to give us big text. Let's even give the text some color to help us remember it. Now we can hit the Save button, and there we have it. That is our favorite color. Next, back at the list view, let's talk about what these settings will do. Now that you know how, you can create custom questions yourself. The next button puts you into edit mode, where you can make as many changes as you want as you refine both your practice questions and the answers that you want to be able to give. Let's go ahead and make a change. We can select and say the answer should be something else instead of blue. Let's make it orange. And that is how we modify our questions and our answers. We'll pick up import in a little while, but first I want to give you a sense of what it's like to run a practice session once you've created a list. In this case, we only have just one question, so it will be quick. The first option is to have a countdown. The countdown allows you to have a moment of quiet where you can just relax and wait for the question. If you had a list of questions, you could shuffle them for the practice. And let's turn on time tracking so that you will see what that does. It will measure and present the times for our responses. And now let's launch our Flash session. We start the practice session. That's our countdown. When that hits 0, you can read the question and hit the Begin My Answer button. My favorite color is orange, of course, and I hit the button to move ahead. And for each question, we see how we did. We see the answer that we are studying, along with our time measurements for that single question. It's 1.65 seconds to read the question, and our time to answer is 5.282. And this is our summary view for the entire set of questions. Be aware that at the end of the session, you can return to the Flash module, you can restart the practice questions again, or you can proceed to the summary view. If we have time tracking turned on, that view is available but still optional. With only one question in the list, there's not much to see yet, but if you remembered that orange was the answer, then you can imagine how this can strengthen memory when trying to recall important details when you are under stress. Now that we see how this works, let's take things to the next level and do something a bit more interesting. Now let's get rid of this and let's try importing some questions. Your Flash module comes with a library that allows you to import questions so that you don't have to type them. These are standard interview questions and they are organized into different categories. It is true that different career paths in different industries can have very different ideas about what is a standard question, but you have custom questions for that. You have icebreaker questions, which is just a way to get things started in an interview setting. It gets the conversation flowing and eases you into the cadence of the conversation. Next, you have career questions that are about your goals, what you hope to get out of the position, what your plans and expectations might be. Profile questions are more about personal information with regard to things you like to do, your interests, and finally, if the position involves management as part of your duties, you have a whole different set of questions. Let's look through these questions and pick a few to import. We have the same one about favorite color, but now we don't have to type it. Do you follow sports? Do you like soccer? What's your favorite animal? Do you have a pet? Why did you leave your current job? What attracted you to this position? What is your favorite project? Can you describe the perfect job? So let's import those, and there we have it. Now we can go through the list and type out our answers. These are mostly softball questions for demonstration, but taking the time to work through your answers to tougher questions can be critically important. What's my favorite animal? That's an easy one. Describing the perfect job might be a lot harder. Let's say taste tester at a chocolate factory. Each answer will tell them something about you. This is your chance to shape the message you want to send. What is your favorite color? Blue. Let's try blue. Some of these answers may seem trivial, but some companies use psychometric testing analysis to develop a profile that will say things about you that you do not explicitly tell them. It doesn't happen everywhere, but it is something to think about. Now we have our imported list, and that was certainly a lot easier. And if you are early in your career, you might appreciate having a library of common questions, especially if you have not done a lot of interviewing. You can make it distinctive and memorable by changing the style, change the size, and you can even add color. And that's it. What is your favorite project? What attracted you? And let's save them. You can go back and edit your answers as often as you like. Let's change the countdown to 1 second, shuffle the questions, and we'll time the answers. Let's launch a Flash session. What is your favorite color? I believe that's blue. Now we can see the response time and the time to answer, and we can queue up the next question. Start the next question. There's the countdown. Why do you want to leave your current job? Begin the answer, I need more challenge and opportunity. Next question. Start the next question countdown. Begin the answer, do you follow soccer? And we can just zip through these questions. Begin your answer. Next question. And we can see it keeps count of our questions and times our answers. We'll get through these. I think we have maybe 2 more. One more. Okay, question 8, begin my answer. That's the end. When you get to the end of your session, the list of questions, then you have some choices. You can choose to end your session. You can restart and go through all the questions again, or you proceed to the practice summary. Because we timed our Flash practice set, it's going to show us our times and it will graph everything out for us. Let's take a look at that. Here we are and we can see the graph of our times. I love seeing the data this way, and by hovering over the numbered questions, it shows us the timing information. If we scroll down, we can also see the same data in a table. Even though the graph doesn't have room to show us the question, we know by looking at the table that question 3 was, do you follow soccer? And you will notice trends and outliers in the timing. For example, we can see that the second question took us a much longer time to answer than other questions, over 6 seconds. The second row in the table shows the question as, why do you want to leave your current job? There is too much nuance for us to say what the measured times mean for you. After all, it is just another measure of how you are responding to the questions. This can be a very useful bit of feedback if you want to be able to look at your times to see which ones seem to take longer than others. In the case of taking a long time to answer, it's possible that you weren't really sure what the answer was supposed to be, or you weren't sure how you wanted to explain it. Fortunately, it's your workspace, and so you can go back and review until you feel that you are ready. It is a real confidence booster to be sure. One final tip that we do recommend is that when you practice, speak your answers out loud. Thinking the answers is much faster than speaking, which skews the measured times you will get. However, virtually all public speaking classes will have you speaking out loud for a reason. It will help you a lot. Anyway, we have covered a lot of ground, and you are probably itching to try it out on your own with your questions and your answers. So, that will pretty much take care of the Flash module and practice sessions. Enjoy.